Lil Durk tweets yesterday, hip hop ain't what it used to be.
Yeah, bro.
What comes to your mind when you hear that?
Okay, then change it. What the fuck? Oh, I was gonna say some crazy shit.
Go ahead.
Nah, that's
Snitching?
not that crazy.
He talking about snitching?
Like literally, like what do you mean? Like hip hop's always changing. Like do something about it if you feel that way. I guess. Like why are you? I guess I want to know more. That's kind of a bland statement.
Correct. I'm saying based off of that bland statement, kind of how do you take that?
I feel like
okay, like you really only get a feature to get popping. Like that's okay. Like
Damn.
do something about it if you feel that way. Like I'm sorry, Lil Durk's cool as fuck, but like I don't know. What do you mean by that? Like I feel like it's straight. I don't know. Like I'm gonna stop talking.
Terrence be having sassy ass responses. He always rolling his eyes.
Like what do you mean?
He be like, what do you mean? Like, like
what are you talking about?
So damn sassy.
You trying to have shock value? Like what are you talking about?
I don't know. That's why I was asking you.
I feel like hip hop's in the straight place. I guess that's the broader question.
It's very gay, but that was a joke. Anyway,
I don't feel like hip hop's in a good place, but me. But I also in that tweet, I feel like he's talking about they're not being rats. Rats not being a rat isn't. That's what I think he's talking about, snitching.
Think so? Yeah, I kind of.
I mean, what else would he be talking about? In hip hop back then, you got crucified for snitching.
That's
Nigga,
what we
no
was
one
talking
took
about.
you serious.
I just said this earlier when I was like, Gunna is on Big Sean's album. I was like, people seem to not really give a fuck about snitching no more if you're relevant.
No. And I feel like when he's talking about rap music or hip hop, he's talking about street music.
But it did. What made a difference is that Gunna's snitching allegations are so debated versus like it would be a lot different. I think if he was in a room saying he did it, like in an
Like if
interrogation
he
room
can
type
put his
thing.
way, like if they call him to the stand in the trial,
He's
and
not
he
going to the stand.
But I'm saying if he does, and he gets up there and he doesn't like do what the other niggas have been on the trial doing, like fucking with the prosecutor, saying I don't know, but he actually got up there and was like, yeah, I was with him. This is what happened. Oh yeah, I heard X, Y, and Z say X, Y, and Z. Like then now he's clearly snitching.
Where are we talking about Gunna if he snitched or not?
Yeah, we're talking. Well, this was segueing from Lil Durk's statement talking about hip hop and what it used to be. Basically, we're implying that we think he's talking about snitches.
Yeah, I think he's talking about people being snitches and them getting famous off of it. And it's popular in the hip hop world. No one gives a fuck. I mean, he could be talking about the music, but I mean,
Well, let's assume that he is talking about the music.
if we're talking about music, I mean, it's not what it used to be. He wouldn't be wrong.
Well, okay, what does it take to get it back?
That's what I said.
And when you say it's not what it used to be, what did it used to be?
It's always
did it used to
changing.
be?
Like, what are we talking about?
I feel like men ran hip hop, so men
saw
don't run
it.
hip hop. That's what changed. Men aren't on top of hip hop, and it's been like that for about 2 years now.
Mm-hmm.
So hip hop isn't what it used to be. Women run hip hop. Women have never ran hip hop since it started. They used to just exist in hip hop, like the Little Kims and the Left Eyes and shit like that. They used to exist in hip hop. They didn't run hip hop. They never went. That never was a thing. Men have always owned hip hop. Now it's just kind of, niggas don't. It's like niggas don't give a fuck. They just like, I'm gonna make my music. I'm gonna keep out the way and let these girls talk about this bullshit that they talk about. And then so it's not what it used to be. Cause like, what do we ride around listening to? I mean, when you turn on the radio, nigga, you hear bullshit. You hear girls on the radio.
Nah, facts.
Like, nigga, that's not hip hop. Like, that's not what hip hop used to be.
I feel like women have always been in hip hop though.
I said they've always existed. They never ran it. There's never a time in hip hop history that women ran hip hop and have been the face.
Well, is that an issue?
Why is that an issue?
I'm asking you if it is an issue.
It is an issue.
Why?
Because what's wrong with hip hop? Like that's like
Women can't be at the face of hip hop for a little bit.
That's like white people being the face of hip hop, nigga. That's something's wrong.
Chime in.
You realize hip
Terrence,
hop.
chime in.
Hip hop was created by black people, black men at that, and it wasn't rapping. It started with the beats, and then it got into the words, and then because New York created essentially hip hop was created in New York. New York City created hip hop, so therefore from there it elevated. Women still never ran, even in the '90s, nigga. hip hop. You had Lauryn Hill. You had they didn't run hip hop. They just existed in it. Little Kim, nigga, in the early 2000s.
That's crazy.
They existed, but they ran in my opinion, women ran R&B in the early 2000s and 90s. Men didn't. They just existed in it. They has a lot of great singers that were singing back then, but they didn't run it. I think men took over R&B when you had people like Usher start coming out and singing in that. But like other than that, bro, nah. Men have ran hip hop for fucking 50 years now? That's when they say hip hop started? Some shit like that.
You said a lot there, buddy.
I mean, it's up for debate, nigga.
You like talking all over the place. I'm not gonna lie.
My main point was,
Lauryn Hill had a #1 album when that shit came out.
but
What did it say about that?
She wasn't the face of hip hop.
Yes, she was.
No. When the album come out? What year?
Like 97.
Yeah, no. Tupac was still the face of hip hop.
She was in the
And that
conversation.
nigga died the year before.
She was in the conversation of the top rappers at that time.
But that's one person.
But what's your definition of running hip hop?
Running hip hop
#1
is
hip hop in
put
the
it this way,
conversation.
Right now, you can name probably 5 female artists popping versus you can't name 5 male artists that are popping.
What?
There's not 5 male artists that are popping more than 5 female artists. Right now, to this day.
Let's go off of 5 female artists first and foremost. Obviously, Sexy Red, Glorilla,
Yep.
Lotto,
Yep.
Megan
Ice
Thee
Spice,
Yep.
and who else?
Stallion. Megan Thee Stallion.
Megan Thee
Megan Thee
Stallion.
Okay.
I don't know what
I
you gonna
don't
say
even
for
get
the
your
men.
point. What's your point?
My point is, back then, nigga, I could name 5
He's saying,
dudes.
hold on. He's saying that he can't name 5 male rappers who are popping more than the 5 top female rappers right now. That's what he's saying.
They're not.
Oh, that's true.
So
Yeah,
he's
but
saying-
that's my point.
So he's saying
Back
that.
But
then-
I'm hearing you said a female rapper has never like kind of been doing her thing, running like
No,
shit.
I said hip hop was never ran by what?
Predominantly female.
That's never been a thing. That's
okay,
what I
you
mean.
were talking
by,
all over the place. I thought you meant like there was never no super poppin'
No.
ass female rapper.
No,
Like,
He's saying,
they
like,
just didn't run. They didn't run it.
They were like the dominant ones.
Yeah,
Okay.
men have always been
Okay,
that
yeah,
until
that's
now,
fair.
and that's why I say hip hop isn't what it was, and that's the biggest issue. That's a bad thing.
okay.
Hip hop is in an awful state.
I mean, shit. Who's the top male rappers right now?
I don't know. Nobody.
I feel like it's just in a weird space and we're waiting for something new to pop out. Because you think about it, based on what Jamaree's saying, okay, there was like, I'm not going to start from like the early 90s and shit, but like in the early 2000s, we had what? Like Pharrell, fucking Jay-Z, Kanye, fucking Clips, all sounded different, doing their own thing. And then what? 2010s, we have the Wiz, Currency. I'm just skipping decades. Wiz, Currency, fucking couple years more, we have like ASAP Mob, Future, really like shifting shit. And then there's a bunch of like people who either sound just like it or just like kind of influenced by it, you know what I'm saying? So that's what it takes to not have these type of combos where we're like, oh, it's in a weird space. Because the last crazy generational shift we had in music, really, if you think about it, honestly, was like X, Peep, Juice, kind of like shaping the emo sound and like this like hardcore screamo. And that was like what, probably like 7 years ago. 2016 reportedly the best year like in the SoundCloud era type shit. And now there's nothing. It's just like a bunch of street shit.
And now all the top male rappers is kind of low key, not
It's
underground,
just some
but
street
just like,
shit, like underground shit. Not really. It's just weird. We've seen it before type of shit. That's how I'm breaking it down. And we haven't seen nothing like really to be like, we haven't seen like an ASAP Mob. We haven't seen like a Future. We haven't seen like an X in the last like 7-8 years probably. And that's why I feel we're in a weird space where it's like,
I think that
what is
part
going on? We have like fucking Sexy Red and like Glorilla and shit. That's not really doing.
I feel like it's because music is oversaturated. Hip hop is oversaturated, in my opinion.
Well, if you can make if you've seen all this sound now, and then you can just go in your room, make a TikTok about whatever the fuck's trending, and then get like be famous the next day. Yeah, that's obviously gonna be like, oh, I can do this too. So let me just. It's gonna make a million different people do the same shit. So
there's a lot of music
you got to
out
take that into consideration too, because is this internet world? Is this on some other shit? Like,
but what I'm saying is like, male hip hop is oversaturated, not women.
that's what I'm saying.
But no, you didn't say that. What I'm saying is men in hip hop that version, that side of hip hop is oversaturated. That there isn't, everyone like kind of blends together because if
That's what I'm saying. Everybody and their mom is rapping because now it's easy to go viral.
But I'm saying women aren't. There's not a lot of women popping because it's not oversaturated. That's why you only have a handful of women artists that are popping right now. Versus like, bro, there's not like there. Yeah, of course, there's always gonna be underground rappers that are women, but they're not gonna pop because they're not rapping about popping coochie and doing this and
I like that.
Like they're not really rapping about that. So, I mean, I feel like that's what's wrong with male hip hop and why no one will pop unless they have already been in the game.